All right, everyone. I am super excited tonight to have Ryan O'Connell with us. I've known this guy for quite a while. I just want to say, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Number one, I just always look forward to the conversations we have about light painting and just life in general. Sometimes, the things we talk about. So it's really great to have you here, and you've been a great friend, and I appreciate you, man. So with that, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
I appreciate you too, Jason. Thank you, man. I'm Ryan. I currently live in Pennsylvania, originally from Virginia. Moved here a few years ago. We have two kids. We have a third on the way. And we're excited about that. A little nervous, a little unexpected. But yeah, wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle of the DC area, but I lost all my sewer tunnels that I used to get to work with when I moved here. So yeah.
Awesome. What do you guys know what you're having yet?
Yeah, another girl. It'll be my third girl. Yep.
Another girl, man. I
Yeah.
I know all
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, you do.
Let me share my screen here. Give me 1 second. So, how long have you been light painting, and how did you discover light painting?
So that's one that it's kind of a weird story. I light painted was probably 10 or I think I started about 12 years ago. Was when I first picked up a flashlight. I remember literally just tracing my friend's body in our backyard, and we thought it was the coolest thing ever. And it was right when I got into photography. And I got really into this. This was back in the Flickr days. I got really into it. I found I can't remember who I found first online, but I remember being really inspired by like LED Eddie at the time and TCB were like huge inspirations for me. I got really into it. And then I ended up having some loss in my life, and we ended up having a kid, and I just kind of lost like I guess the drive and the time really to do it for a while, adjusting to being a parent and stuff like that. So I've known about it and been able to do it for a little over 10 years, but I just 2 years ago was when I really started really getting back into it. I got a new camera during the pandemic, and just I don't know, man. As soon as I started, like really, I think last year was when I really started like digging back into light painting. I got it's funny because some light painting brushes that I got were the big motivator for me to really kind of push back into it, and then getting the gimbal so I could do the rotations. The rotations were something that I always admired from your work and from some stuff that I've seen from Tim Gamble, and even like I want to say LED Eddie was one of the first rotations that I ever saw, and it used to blow my mind because I was like, how are they doing that? And
Right.
it's just like simple.
Yeah, camera rotations, man, they're just so intriguing. They're so fun. Just the results you get from it, and just I love it. Absolutely love it. And
Yeah,
you're one of the best at
yeah.
it, for sure, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah,
Um,
I really enjoy the symmetry.
right. What is your favorite part about light painting? Do you have something in particular that's your favorite part?
Honestly, it depends on the day, man. It's sometimes it's the process. It's really exciting to create something. Sometimes it's the result. And sometimes it's just, like learning something new about it. I really enjoy creating something. I love when I get like to the back of my camera, especially when I get it like onto my computer screen. And like I actually enjoy looking at something that I just created. You know what I mean? Like it's something that I can like sit there and stare at and be like, wow, I made that. And like actually enjoy it, not just because I made it, but because it's enjoyable to look at for me.
Right, absolutely. Um,
Um,
what is it that drives you within creating your work that you create?
so honestly, like I think I try to convey like certain, I don't know, certain feelings, or just like maybe not necessarily convey my feelings, but like stir up feelings in the viewer when I create some of the stuff. There's definitely symbolism that I use in some of my work that's a little more abstract. It's I don't know. I'm working on it with the film stuff as to how to convey it like more literally, I guess, because it's kind of I don't know. Sometimes sometimes symbolism is like lost. People look at it, they're like, oh, cool, it's like a cool spirally design, but like there's significance in a lot of my work. There's significance to like why I use certain colors or like why I use certain patterns and stuff like that for certain images. And I think that I don't know. I try to have some kind of. Sometimes it's just for fun, pretty colors. You know what I mean? But sometimes there's stuff that I really put a lot of thought into to try and convey some symbolism or like some kind of meaning to it, like a deeper meaning.
You had hit on this a minute ago, but one of the most favorite parts about light painting is that moment that I get to go back to my camera and I see
Yeah.
something that I just created, and I'm just, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like I literally just did that. So I'm relating to what you were talking about. Can you describe to us more in detail, what that feeling is for you when you're creating a light painting and you make it to the back of your camera and see what you just did?
Yeah, so some of my it's a really good feeling, especially for some of the more elaborate like 40-minute rotations that I did last year where it was
Wow.
just like this tunnel of like dogwood flowers and like it's like literally when I went back and counted it's like 72 different rotational increments that I did on the gimbal for that picture. When I get back to the camera and it's like it actually came through and I didn't miss lighting one of them. It's like, oh my God, like and then I love a lot of the work that I've been doing in the last year has been in my house. So the back of the camera is nice, but getting it on my computer sometimes is really where I see like, oh my God, I really did nail that.
Right.
And yeah, it's a great feeling. It's funny though. I've kind of had to learn how to like calm myself down a little bit from that, because obviously light painting typically needs to be done at night, and it used to get me so excited that I wouldn't be able to go to sleep. I would get something, an image that I really was proud of. I would share it online, and then I'd be excited to hear feedback from my peers, and it would just keep me up all night. And this was like 10 years ago when I used to do it. Nowadays it's like, okay, you gotta. Sometimes I just you gotta put the picture aside. We'll post it tomorrow. You gotta get to sleep because tomorrow you gotta get up for work or whatever. So,
Right.
but yeah, it's just a great feeling, man, to like see that right there. And even with the film stuff, it's so that instant gratification is something that I've gotten used to with digital. With the film stuff, there's a lot more waiting time in between it. And I think that's taught me some discipline in like not necessarily needing the instant gratification right away. Um, but also like still, can't wait to see it. Like I want to see what I came up with. And it's a great feeling.
Yeah,
Get something back. Proud of
that's
it.
what's beautiful about digital. I mean, you can literally take
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of images. With
Yes.
film,
Yeah.
you had to wait like a week to get your film back, and then,
Yeah.
start that whole process over again of trying to get it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Well, and
uh,
that is a huge part of the. I don't think, and that's this is something that is a little bit of a tangent here, but I feel like that's digital gave birth to like the popularity of light painting and the ability for people to do it because like I can't imagine doing all the trial and error that we do on a film medium and actually ever being patient enough with it, stick with it.
wow. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, some light painters find inspiration from what they see, what from other artists or what they hear, like music, or they could entirely just envision this within their own head. Are your creations a form of these types, or is it something, when you get into your studio, is it something just completely random?
So the best answer that I came up with for this one was yes.
Right.
Um, I'm inspired by everything, man. I was talking to some artists today at that gallery that I was at. Um, and I'll see like the way that the light hits like a leaf or something like that, and the way that it brings out the veins of the leaf, or like the way that it illuminates like some cracks on the ground, and like I'll see like a geometric pattern in that or something like that. Or even like I'm just using a basket that's right next to me right now. Sometimes just seeing like geometric patterns, the way the shadows are cast, it'll inspire me to like use that in another technique or with something that I found. Recently, some technique that I've already been playing with. Music is a huge inspiration for me. I've been trying to chill out with my Tool lyrics on every every post, but like Tool's music and like what they sing about is a kind of a big like that spiritual essence kind of is a big part of my work, and it's yeah, it's like everything, man. The whole world is inspiring to me. I see other people's photography that's not light painting. I see light paintings. I see paintings that people did. I see graffiti work. I see I mean pretty much anything. Like my mind is like constantly like open to inspiration. And it's a little overwhelming sometimes. To the so much so that I don't really even take my camera with me on like family events anymore because I tend to get just like really sometimes I'll get like really stuck in this idea and I'm like I gotta get it.
Right.
Um, but it's great too because I don't know I feel like I feel like some of the better ideas that I come up with are inspired from like places that you probably wouldn't even imagine. You know, it's like something random that I saw online. It
Well,
inspires me to do something.
this year I've really tried, I've been trying to embrace that a little different because I too find a lot of inspiration from anything. I mean, a speck of dust and I'm inspired.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot of things that inspire me, but this year I wanted to concentrate more on words. And I think that I had sent you something pertaining to colors and their origins and their meaning and the spiritual side of it. And then trying to interpret that color and that meaning into a light painting. And it's been a pretty fascinating journey and something I'm still playing around with, but I can definitely relate to being inspired by so much, around you. So that's really cool.
well, and if you don't mind me adding on that, because it's something that I do think about, and it's like it's something that I'm trying to overcome, and that's part of the reason I got into the film, is that like I feel like I feel like painters have a little bit more freedom once they get to the point where they're able to convey and paint what they want, whatever they want. I
Right.
feel like we're kind of limited sometimes in light painting as to what we can really convey. Because like you can only double expose so much before you wash all the details out. You don't have anything left to show.
Right.
Or you can only you can only leave so much like dead space in your image, negative space in your image to fill in with something else, or you can only like you're limited by the settings versus the tool that you're using and all that. And I'm really trying to like pull those limitations away as much as I can. I think I found that although I'm still like learning with it, I think I found that film gives me a little bit more freedom in that regard, where I can mix, like daylight elements. I mean, you've done rotations of daytime. Some of those wood pictures you did recently were awesome.
Thanks.
And like that kind of stuff to be able to combine the elements and like really like Jason Page. I want to tell you there's some of the stuff that I'm like really trying to do. I'm trying to work with a model right now. I have my first roll of slide film I just ran through with some spring blossoms the other day, and I'm going to incorporate some light painting tools elements to it. And I'm really trying to like just kind of like smash barriers between like genres of like photography with like just and like I don't know, just to like see what we can come up with, because I feel like we're always, taking pictures. Then like if we can add daytime elements to it too, but then I can also add like some of the really cool effects that I've been able to come up with the light painting brushes. I feel like it just I don't know, it'll be something new and different, and I'm excited to see what I can come up with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that sounds intriguing, man. I'm excited to see that process and where it goes for you, man.
Me too.
What would you say is your favorite light painting brushes tool and why? Is there a particular tool that you tend to hone in on more than others?
Does Universal Connector count? No,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I was struggling with this one. I love the plexiglass. I love pretty much any of it. I've been the unicorn blade is by far my favorite plexi tool. But the holographic sword has been recently something that I've been really enjoying playing with, especially on strobe mode. And with the kaleidoscope, it's really neat the effects you get with that holographic sword. Um, Man, it's really hard to choose one. Do I have
They're
to just
all
choose one?
they're all good, man.
All right, cool, cool.
Um,
I honestly the color the color filters are probably my most commonly used tool. They're super handy. I use those the most by far.
and that's one of the great things about light painting for me. I love color, man. I love experimenting with different colors and creating different
Mhm.
colors and I just love it. So those filters are great.
Hey Jay, can I
Yeah.
ask a question real quick? Just kind of tied in there with the color and the color theory. So will you expand a little bit on the color theory? I know like the colors have certain can invoke certain emotions, like blue is for trust and red can be passion. But how does
Sure.
that tie into your work?
So it's not so much sometimes it is like, like what like the typical view of like red, like red is, it can either be passion or it can be like scary, like kind of like a rage kind of emotion that it stirs up. I look more for like what colors go well together, or what colors like by themselves work. I find, and this is my personal opinion, I don't want it to sound the wrong way, but I find some color combinations to be like cheesy kind of. And then I find some color combinations to be like really effective. You know what I mean? Like rainbows can be really pretty, and then sometimes it's like just a rainbow, but sometimes it can be like this, oh my God, like that's like this really cool rainbow effect. You know what I mean? I feel like pinks bring in the rainbow colors like really well. Like a typical like RGB, like just red, just green, just blue. If you add just pink to that, it like changes that spectrum like so much more. And like visually, like I think my favorite color combo is red and cyan. I know that Jason and Reinhardt and I had talked about that. Cyan is like just I love cyan. Um, but it's really just like what works together for me. And then sometimes, like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and use this picture that we have up here, that Jason's got up on the screen as an example. Um, Pretty straightforward with the colors. The pinks were to offset the other colors that were in there, and that's just the color that I wanted. I didn't want red because I didn't want it to seem creepy. I didn't want it to look too much like Vecna from Stranger Things. I stuck with pink for that. I like the way that it accented it. But the yellow and orange, that's a sun kind of shape in the middle. The colors for that. The red in the background is that pattern is symbolic of DNA. And then the halos, the bluish green, once again, a color that I really like, but also kind of just to show like a little bit more of like a pure, like, I don't know, like kind of like a sky color, but also like the green that's in there, maybe like, a little combination with like nature, connection with nature and stuff.
I was I
Thanks, man.
was I was
Sorry,
looking
go ahead, Jay.
for because we had talked about color, and I just thought this was so super cool. Like the color orange is often associated with energy, vibrancy, and warmth.
Hmm.
In the
Hmm.
spiritual world, orange is believed to represent a bounce between the physical and the spiritual worlds. It is also a
Hmm.
color that is said to promote creativity and self-expression. So I just that all this just hones in on where my focus has been this year with color, and finding
Yeah,
inspiration from the origins of colors and
sure.
experimenting with them that way. So I just wanted to share that, how that all intertwined with what you were talking about.
Definitely. Well, and I think we can all agree too that like when you look at pictures, I mean, color is huge. It like sets mood. It creates the mood in images a lot, even in like just normal photography. As fashion photography, color is like used really heavily in fashion photography to accentuate or stylize things. And yeah, a lot of times when I look at people's work, I mean, I think we all use colors by choice, but you can see there's some artists that are really really deliberate in their color choices, and yeah, and it just I don't know. I feel like it's really, to me it's really important to using the right colors to convey the right mood that I'm trying to convey.
I think also too, if you think about it, the way the human mind works and everything, there's certain colors. Let's say you were trying to sell your work. I think there's particular colors that offset that impulse feeling of buying a particular art piece. I think reds tend to be a harder of an image for somebody to sell, just because
Hmm.
of the way that the human mind works,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
perceiving that color. So.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's the thing, is there's a few images that I've used like just red and black, and I think it's very hard without another color to offset. I think it's really hard to use just red and black and not have it, stir up feelings of like darkness, or like rage, or like like negative emotions.
Right.
Yeah, totally feel that.
Um, what is it, or what would you tell someone who is just starting out light painting? What kind of advice would you give that person?
Just to have fun and keep playing, like keep rolling with it. Um, it really is like, I mean, half of what keeps me in light painting is this community, man. Like, I mean, I consider you like a good friend, Jason, and it's like it's cool because like we've probably seen each other in person a couple times, maybe two or three
Yeah.
times.
One of them at tour.
Um, yeah, exactly. A great show. Um, but like I think the community is amazing. And I think that I don't think that what I did early on when I first started light painting is like anywhere near like, and I'm not in, I don't think like right now, I don't think I'm anywhere near my potential. You know what I mean? I think that striving for better and striving to create more and to like innovate and stuff like that is part of what pushes me. But like, it's also fun. And there's some stuff that's like actually this shot right here looks really complex, but it's super simple. It's two snaps kind of at daytime. Obviously there was research behind it, but I don't know. I feel like the longer you stick with it, it's like you just that's where like you really like the gold really is. Like you really start to see how the light interacts with different objects and like different patterns that you can create. And like I feel like it takes a little bit of time, and maybe that's true with any art form. It takes a little bit of time to really like dig into like the good juicy parts of it. You know what I mean?
I
Um,
I think me and
and
you,
and never hesitate to ask for help.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Me and you have talked about this too before. You know, that's why I'm not just a light painter. I do landscapes, I do portraits,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I all that is tied into my love of light painting. My landscapes are such a big part of my light painting just as much as my portrait work, because I get to learn different light, and I get to learn how to use that light in different environments, and I apply all that stuff into light painting. So um
Mhm.
you're absolutely right. Just expand yourself and explore, and develop yourself, and never stop developing yourself, I guess.
Yeah,
There's always
sure.
room to grow and expand yourself. So
Well, and to your point there, I feel like the most inspirational light painters that I've seen, and the ones that I admire and kind of appreciate the most, or even just light painted images that I appreciate the most, they also tend to share some of the commonly accepted like rules of composition for photography. So it's not just the light painting; it's like they're following the rule of thirds or like leading lines or stuff like that. Like there are other like compositional elements to their pictures that are like it's not just a light painting; it's like great photography using light painting techniques.
absolutely. Your body of work is very, I tend to look at it and I see a lot of geometric, and um I personally think that you are probably one of the best in the world with symmetry, hands down. There are some
That
images that
means too much, man.
your symmetry is just on point, and I'm just like mind blown. A lot of times when I see something you've done, could you walk us through that process of getting everything so well lined up? Like, is there something in particular that you do that just makes it line up within your frame? This kind of hits on the rule of thirds and everything you were just talking about. So,
So let me go. Give me 1 second. It's a simple technique, but
all right.
so like with this one, this is a good example. This picture right here. So that picture, I I spent some of my recent work. It's shorter exposures,
Right.
but it's the amount the amount of times the amount of takes that I do to get there is not, it's not just like one 37-second exposure. It's 40 37-second exposures, and I, adjusted 5 minutes in between for each one. And one of the things I do that I you notice all this painter's tape. This is an old trick that I learned from somebody's tutorial a long time ago. These are to mark off like where I'm rotating, where I'm tilting to, whatnot. So
Man,
basically,
that is
like,
a serious gimbal.
yeah, it's no joke, dude. It's so it's so obnoxiously heavy, but I was able to get it. I think you got one recently. I think mine was a little bit cheaper than yours, but it has the increments on the top too. So that's why I got that one. It's
Yep.
got these degree increments on there. So it's really cool. Actually, some of them, if we dug back into some of the stuff I was doing last year, this was really neat because like I was able to do like basically like that one I talked about earlier with the dogwoods. Like I would do at one focal length, I would do like 30-degree increments, and then at the next focal length, I would like offset that by 15 degrees. So I'd start at 15 instead of 0, and then I'd do 30-degree increments on top of that. So it was like it was alternating in between each focal length. And so it really filled it in as opposed to just giving one tunneled line like each way like this. It would be like a flower here and then a flower here and then a flower here and then a flower here. And like it would go, it would, I don't know. I felt like it created a better tunnel effect. But yeah, so this is how I mark off, like on this one, this is exactly what I did. I actually shot this one at 85 millimeters through my garage door going out to my garage. I positioned the triangle like in the door enough to where nothing else was seen. And being at 85 millimeters, it was all right. And then I rotated to point at my widescreen to get that pattern on the top is something I created in a Mandala Maker app. Did you download that, by the way, Jason? I think you did.
What
Mandala Maker? The
uh,
Mandala Maker app?
I don't. Yeah, I don't think I have. No.
Okay, so that's I actually made those patterns on the top, and then it's repeated with a prism lens filter. So that's actually how I got both of the effects. The effect of the light painting brushes, glitter. Sorry, that's the glitter sword on the left, right? That's the glitter stick. Yeah, that's the red glitter stick on the left. And then and on the bottom of that frame. But yeah, honestly, I'm just kind of obsessed with symmetry, man. Like that's some of the stuff like with LED Eddie's work they used to do, like some of the rotations he did, like they were, and he would explain it like in his breakdown, like they're like stupid obsessive. He would spend hours out there making sure that his lineup was like absolutely perfect. And that's when I talk about like I don't know, just like creating, like there's some light paintings that I've seen like that there's a French guy, Olivier, I can't remember. Some of the stuff that he's done is absolutely mind-blowing to me. It's I can't remember his name right now. Olivier Fay, maybe Oliver.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, some of the stuff that he's created is like really crazy. And I feel like it like takes light painting to a whole new level. It really like there's certain people that really just like kind of make me think like, wow, it's like we're capable of doing this, with this medium. And honestly, it's just kind of obsession. Like this picture, like it had to be lined up with the triangles, and it's still, when I look at it right now, I'm like it's just a little bit off, and it's not it's not quite where I wanted it to be, but I could not get it to be perfectly over that triangle because I don't know if you've worked with linear prisms. They don't,
Right.
like I could rotate back to my triangle every time on the same notch, and it would still be a little bit different through that prism than it would be, from the last shot. So
Well, when you had walked away to get your gear, I mean, even though this particular image is offset, dude, it's super cool. The symmetry is still there, and it's like this is a staple of your volume of work right there. So, I just want to say hats off to you for the things that you're able to do, man, and the symmetry. You're on it. You are on point with it. So,
thanks, man.
and keep up all that amazing work.
I just want to say, I think all three of us here, or four of us, have problems because like anybody that's going to look at this, their mind's going to be blown, and the three of us are going,
yeah, we're like up here. This ain't
that little bit, but we're all nuts. We got problems.
No, I know that is really, so like I did a shot the other day, and I really try to avoid any spot removal. I'm not gonna say I've never done spot removal on my light paintings, because I have. It's just sometimes like the shot's just too perfect for me to want to reshoot it and not just take that spot out. But like I did one the other day, and like I was like, yeah, it's perfect, and I on the back of my screen, and then I got it to my computer, and I looked at it, and I was like, and my hand's in there. My hand is like right there in the picture, and I'm gonna have to reshoot that now. I can't take that one out. So yeah, that's the obsession. The obsession is real. The symmetry is necessary, I feel like, for a lot of this stuff.
How do we follow along with you, Ryan? Like what's the best way to follow along? Is it through your Instagram that we're looking at here, or is there a website?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for new people, if we have mutual friends on Facebook, you know, I share on Facebook too. Sometimes I share a little bit more on Facebook. I don't know. I have this weird idea that like Instagram is like this like stage for me to like share all my art as an artist. And Facebook is a little more personal. But yeah, this is the way to go right here. I need to get a website going, but I just keep saying that, and nothing ever happens. So
Right. I know I've been telling myself for years, I got to do it. I got to do it. Got to do it. And then I still haven't, but yeah, this right here, man, look at this. This just,
so
oh,
So and this one too, like when I look at the burst and it's like just off from the top of that triangle, I'm like, but like I didn't get a better take than this, so I rolled with it.
right. But it's apt.
And it took a lot. It took a lot to get it that lined up. So
Well, Ryan, I got one more question for you, man. Who's your favorite Jason?
I was dreading answering this one. I'm gonna have to say it's you, Reinhardt, just because we're closer.
There we
man.
go. There we go.
But Paige, I can learn to love you, man. I can learn to love
so
you.
much for all that free gear, huh?
Hey man, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to have you here. And like I said, I value you as an artist, as a human, as a father. I really enjoy the conversations that me and you constantly have. So thank you so much for being a part of this and being here with us. And if there's ever anything I can do for you, man, just reach out, and thank you.
I really appreciate that, Jason. Thank you guys for having me. I really enjoy being on here.
Absolutely.
Hey, I got a question before you go.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite image?
Man, I was just talking about that today. So you guys might be able to resonate with this. Like some of the stuff that I work on, like this one that's on the screen, it was my favorite image before, you know, for probably a few weeks until I made something else that I felt like blew that one out of the water. It's this, and I don't know, maybe it's just an artist thing or maybe it's just me, I don't know, but like I'll like obsess over there was one that I put a lot of work into. It was that communion one with the two figures on either side and the sun in the middle. I worked on that one for like 2 weeks trying to get all the colors and like the lineup and everything right and how I really wanted to execute it, because I was like, this one's got to be perfect. And I looked at it for like a week and was like, God, I love this thing. And then like now I'm just like, I don't know. Like I look back at it today and I was like, yeah, it's really great. Like you should still be really proud of it. But I just haven't really looked at it like that. I would say that communion, that one that you had up, that's probably my favorite. I think technically that's my best work so far.
This one.
This one. Yep. That's the one. Yep. The unicorn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that you want to
because I feel like
tool right there. That is just so toolish.
Yeah, and that's well, I mean, Alex Gray's a huge inspiration for me. The significance of his work, like what the meaning that he puts into it, is really big for me. But also like the symmetry, the geometry that he uses in his work is just like mind blowing for me. And the fact that he paints all that stuff on linen is like, wow. But yeah, I would say that's my favorite. But you ask me again in a month and it might be different. Who knows?
All right. Well, again, Ryan, man, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you here, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. All right. See you later.
Take care.